Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get you straight to the insights that matter.
Glad to be here.
So today, we're tackling something almost everyone bumps up against eventually: job searching. Specifically in 2025.
Right.
You've probably been there, haven't you? Sending applications out feels like yelling into a void sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Wondering if the system's broken or if it's just you.
Exactly. And is it even fair? That's a big question.
It is. And often, the frustration isn't really about the candidate's qualifications. It's the hiring landscape itself. It's gotten incredibly complex.
And sometimes counterintuitive.
Definitely.
So our mission today is to give you a clear roadmap. Think of it like a strategic plan to actually win your job search.
Yeah, cut through that complexity.
We've gone through a whole stack of expert sources, career coaches, top recruiters, LinkedIn strategists, even borrowed some wisdom from a big name in industry.
Pulled out the best bits.
Pulled out the actionable stuff, the surprising facts. The goal is to leave you feeling, well, genuinely informed and empowered in your job hunt. Okay, so let's kick things off. Where do we start this journey?
Well, the very first step, and maybe the most critical, is building what you could call your internal compass.
Okay.
And here's the thing. The biggest mistake people make, and it's super common, is starting the search or even just building the resume or prepping for interviews without really knowing what they actually want.
Like setting off without a destination in mind.
Precisely. People only realize, way later in the process that they were just going through the motions without real direction. Right. And it's more than just a job title or a company name. It's about digging deep into what makes you happy. Where will you actually thrive?
So like the whole picture.
The whole ecosystem. The work environment, the team, the location, the actual tasks, resources, pay, benefits, travel, all of it.
That makes a lot of sense. I think one expert called it the spotlight effect.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Making big decisions with only partial information because you're not asking enough questions. Or maybe not the right questions.
Leaving these huge blind spots.
Exactly. So the actionable advice here is create a list. A really detailed list of your criteria, your happiness factors.
Write it down.
Yes. Make it tangible. This becomes your checklist for looking at opportunities. One source even said, if you can't come up with 50 questions to investigate.
50? Wow.
Yeah, or even they mention a spreadsheet with 86 prompts. If you can't get that detailed, your choice might be more luck than strategy.
That's intense. But having those questions before you even start looking?
It totally changes the game. It redefines the search.
Okay, so knowing your destination first, that's key. Now, once you've got that compass set, how do you know if it's even the right time to look for a new job?
Well, there's a pretty simple framework.
Yeah.
Look at your current role through 3 lenses.
Okay.
1, are you bringing value to the company? 2, are you getting value for yourself, learning, growing? And 3, do you actually feel valued?
Right.
If the answer to any of those is no, that's a pretty strong signal it might be time to explore.
That's a clear check.
And maybe just a practical point, make sure you've got some recent achievements from your current role ready to go on your resume before you jump. Something tangible.
All right, let's talk about the tools then. Resumes first. There's a big mindset shift needed here, isn't there?
Huge. Forget thinking of your resume as just a history of where you worked.
Okay.
Our sources all say, think of it as a forward-looking sales tool.
A sales tool for you.
Exactly. It needs to answer 2 questions for the employer. 1, how are you going to help me solve my problems?
Right, what's in it for them?
And 2, how will my life or my business be transformed if I hire you? They're buying transformation, not just your skills list.
Transformation, not features. I like that.
That's the core idea.
Yeah.
But the system you're sending this sales tool into, well, it can feel pretty broken sometimes.
Yes. The dark side, as some call it. Applicant Tracking Systems and all that.
Exactly. The ATS, the Applicant Tracking System. It's often the first hurdle. These are bots scanning for exact keywords.
So tiny wording differences matter.
They can. You might have great experience with Google Ads, but if the system is looking for a PPC campaign, you could get screened out.
Wow. So you're writing for a robot first.
Pretty much.
Right.
At least to get past that first gate. Then, even if a human sees it, many recruiters aren't deep specialists in your specific field.
Right. They might be generalists.
So the resume needs to be clear, simple, and focused on results they can understand. Did you save money, increase revenue, improve efficiency?
The universal language of business impact.
And speaking of clarity, there was this fascinating experiment about resume design.
Oh, yeah.
They compared fancy multi-column resumes, the kind you might make on Canva.
Visually appealing ones.
Right. Compare them to simple, plain one-column resumes. Same content, different look. The simple ones got more interviews. 18% compared to only 8% for the beautiful ones.
No way. So simpler is better for getting seen.
Often, yes. Especially for that initial ATS scan and recruiter glance. Simple structure, standard fonts like Arial or Calibri, and saving it as a docs or plain text, unless they specifically ask for a PDF, helps too. Some ATS struggle with PDFs or complex graphics.
Good tip. Makes you rethink spending hours on design. Now, what about other biases in the system? I read something startling about names.
Yes, that's a tough reality. Studies have shown significant differences. One found an identical resume with an ethnic woman's name got almost half the interview callbacks compared to a Caucasian male name.
That's deeply concerning. 10% versus 18%.
Yeah. Which is why some experts are now suggesting things like anonymized applications where possible, just to try and level the playing field against unconscious bias.
And job gaps, that's another worry for people.
It can be.
Yeah.
A 3-year gap, for example, was shown to potentially drop interview rates down to around 8%.
Ouch. So how do you handle that?
Some advice includes maybe removing the months from your work history on the resume to showing the years. And definitely fill that time proactively. Take courses, do projects, even self-created ones, to show you're current and engaged.
Keep learning, keep doing.
Exactly. And for all resumes, the core advice is focus on quantifiable impact. Use bullet points that show outcomes, not just listing tasks. Keep the template clean, simple.
Tailor it for each job.
Absolutely crucial. And make sure it's ATS compliant. Simple things, like making sure your contact info is stacked vertically, not spread horizontally across the top, can sometimes make a difference with older systems.
Got it. Simple, tailored, results-focused. Now, if the resume is the sales tool, LinkedIn is like your personal billboard.
That's a great way to think about it.
It's working
for you 24/7. Recruiters are definitely looking there. Often it's the first place they go. And LinkedIn search algorithm is constantly scanning profiles.
So optimizing it is key. Where do you start?
Your photo. Make it professional but approachable. Smiling, good lighting, clean background,
Yeah.
centered. You can even use AI tools now like ChatGPT to help generate a decent headshot if you need one.
Okay, photo first. What else?
Your banner image. That big space at the top. Don't leave it blank. Use it. Show some personality or something related to your work.
Prime real estate.
Totally. Then your headline, this is so important. Don't just put your job title.
Go beyond that.
Yes, use a formula. Your role plus how you help, your impact plus who you help, your audience company.
Give me an example.
Okay, instead of baker, maybe. Master baker consistently producing 10,000 plus cookies daily, improving freshness and efficiency for Kevin Cookie Company.
Ah, see, that tells a story immediately. Much more impactful.
Right, then the summary of the about section. Think of that as the story behind the headline.
More conversational.
Yeah, conversational. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you love it? A good summary can get you almost 4 times more profile views.
Wow, okay. And the experience section.
Treat it like your highlight reel. Again, quantifiable outcomes. Use bullet points. So not just big cookies.
Right.
More like lead baker. Oversaw production of 10,000 plus cookies daily, maintained 99% quality standard, achieved 98.5% customer satisfaction.
Numbers, results.
Or maybe launched and grew. The Cookie Club member program from 0 to 100,000 monthly subscribers, achieving a 98.5% retention rate. See the difference?
That's huge difference. What about skills and endorsements?
Pin your top 3 skills. That boosts visibility. And don't be shy about asking colleagues or clients for endorsements. It's social proof.
Makes sense. And recommendations.
Even more powerful for building trust. Get them from coworkers, clients, partners. A good tactic is the give one to get one approach.
Nice.
Oh, and a simple practical tip. Customize your LinkedIn URL. Make it clean and easy to remember or share.
Good one. What about actually using LinkedIn day to day?
Activity matters. Posting consistently, some experts even say 5 times a week if you can manage it, keeps you top of mind. Shows you're engaged in your industry.
It signals activity.
Yeah, and LinkedIn's algorithm notices. It prioritizes profiles with recent edits, people who respond quickly to messages, and interestingly, your open to work status.
Ah, the open to work feature. I heard there's a bit of a hack there.
There is. A clever little tactic. Try turning the open to work feature off over the weekend,
Okay.
and then switch it back on first thing Monday morning.
Why?
It can apparently make you appear like a fresh new candidate right at the top of recruiter searches that week. Gives you a little visibility boost.
Interesting. A system quirk to leverage.
Exactly. And don't forget AI's role in all this profile building. Use tools like ChatGPT to help you write strong summaries, refine your experience, bullet points, brainstorm headlines.
Like having a writing assistant.
Precisely. It can really help polish your content.
Okay, so we've got our compass set, our resume polished, our LinkedIn billboard shining. But what about actually, getting the job? Just hitting apply isn't enough anymore, is it?
Not really, no. That easy apply button, while convenient, has created what one expert called an avalanche of candidates for every single opening.
Recruiters are just buried.
Completely buried. So companies are relying much, much more on active talent sourcing.
Meaning recruiters have to go out and find people.
Exactly. They're searching LinkedIn, using their networks. They're not just waiting for applications to passively roll in. If you're not being actively discovered or referred, your odds drop significantly.
So this creates a bit of a dilemma, doesn't it? Should you still be applying online?
It's a great question. And there's some tension in the advice. One perspective is,
Yeah.
yes, apply to some jobs on LinkedIn regularly. It signals to the algorithm and recruiters that you're actively looking. It helps you show up in their searches.
It keeps you visible.
But another very strong viewpoint from a different expert is essentially, don't bother applying until you have a contact at that company.
Really? Why?
Their argument is your resume is just vastly more likely to get seen by the right person, the hiring manager, if it comes through an internal connection, bypassing the huge pile of online applications.
The digital black hole.
Right.
So how do you balance that? Apply strategically, maybe, but focus more on connections.
That seems to be the most sensible approach. Understand the limitations of just applying blindly. Use applications maybe to signal you're in the market, but put your real energy into connecting with people.
Targeting individuals, not just systems.
Exactly. You need to diversify your methods. Don't just rely on one channel.
Like what?
Use referrals. They're gold. Reach out directly to recruiters or hiring managers. Check company career pages directly. Use select job boards, sure, but don't make them your only strategy.
And networking. People always say network, but it feels so vague.
It can be. The key is to be strategic. Don't just ask vaguely, hey, do you know of any jobs?
Right.
Instead, map your network. Start with companies you're interested in. Then figure out who you know or who your connections know that might work there or in similar industry.
Be specific.
Very specific, like, I'm really interested in getting into Northern Trust. You used to work at JP Morgan, right? Do you know anyone there who might have insights into fintech roles? Much more effective.
That makes sense. And who should you reach out to? Just recruiters?
Not necessarily. Here's a smart, maybe counterintuitive tip. Try reaching out to directors or VPs, people higher up.
Really? Wouldn't they be too busy?
You'd think so, but they often get fewer cold outreach messages than junior recruiters do, and they usually have more direct hiring power or influence.
Interesting angle. What about events?
Huge opportunity, especially virtual ones now. Webinars, online masterminds in your industry. Attend them, but don't just listen.
Engage.
Yes. Connect with the speakers afterwards. Connect with other attendees who ask smart questions. It's a fantastic way to build genuine connections in your target space. Think about how communities promote events by highlighting speakers and outcomes you can leverage that same energy.
Okay, find your tribe online. Now, when you do reach out, how do you make it personal and not just another generic message?
This is where AI can be surprisingly helpful again. There are prompts you can use with ChatGPT, for example.
How?
You feed it someone's LinkedIn profile, mention their recent achievements or posts, and ask it to draft a personalized connection request or message. It can even suggest less common tactics, like mentioning a specific point from their article, offering specific help on something you noticed, or even suggesting a personalized video message, things that really stand out.
Moves beyond the standard I'd like to connect.
Way beyond. And then there's the longer game, becoming a micro-celebrity in your niche.
Sounds intimidating.
It's not about being famous. It's about consistent, thoughtful engagement on LinkedIn.
By commenting and posting.
Exactly. Regularly liking and, more importantly, adding insightful comments to posts from people and companies you admire or want to work for. And sharing your own thoughts, articles, or insights at least once a week.
So you become known for your expertise.
Precisely. The algorithm rewards engagement, and over time, recruiters and hiring managers in your field will start to notice you organically. You build visibility and credibility.
Makes sense. Passive attraction almost.
Kind of. And some people even take it a step further, using targeted LinkedIn ads.
Ads for themselves.
Sort of. They strategically boost their best organic posts, so they appear directly in the feeds of people at their dream companies or clients. It looks like organic content, but gets targeted visibility.
A visibility cheat code,
Yeah,
huh?
that's what one source called it, yeah. A way to build trust and familiarity with key people.
All right, let's say your networking paid off. You landed the interview. How do you ace that critical interaction?
Okay, interview prep. Common mistake. People spend all their time trying to guess what questions the interviewer will ask.
Trying to anticipate everything.
Right. Instead, flip it.
Yeah.
Focus on determining what information do they absolutely need to know about the positive impact I'm going to make here.
Take control of the narrative.
Exactly. Remember, they're buying transformation, not just your skills list. Show them the transformation.
How do you do that effectively in an answer?
Use a storytelling structure. The SHART technique is great for this.
Use socks.
Context, action, result. Oh, wait, sorry. One popular variation starts with the result first.
Result first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, result, what did you achieve? Then context, what was the situation? Then activities, what specific actions did you take? And finally, maybe echo the result again, perhaps adding what you learned.
RCAR. So you lead with the punchline.
Kind of, yeah. It grabs their attention and lets them deduce your skills and value from your story, rather than you just listing them. Much more compelling.
Makes sense. What about research before the interview?
Absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Go deep. Understand the company's vision, mission, recent news. Read the job description carefully. What are the real deal breakers or must-haves for this role?
Know what they're really looking for.
And research the interviewer, too. Check out their LinkedIn profile. What's their background, their experience? Knowing a bit about them can help you build rapport.
Tailor your approach slightly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, after the interview, don't just disappear.
The thank you note. Still important.
Definitely. It's an often missed chance to continue the dialogue, as one expert put it.
More than just saying thanks.
Yeah. Reiterate your interest, briefly remind them why you're a great fit, maybe reference something specific from the conversation. It keeps you top of mind.
Good point. Okay, last stage, the offer. Negotiation. People get nervous about this.
They really do. But the advice is overwhelming. You should negotiate. One source said in 99% of cases, you should ask for more.
99%.
Yeah. Companies often have a salary range budgeted, and recruiters frequently expect candidates to negotiate. Studies show it can significantly impact your lifetime earnings. It's almost always worth asking.
But it feels awkward.
It can. But guess what? AI can help here too.
How? Like ChatGPT for negotiation?
Yep. You can use it as your personal negotiation coach. Ask for scripts on how to phrase your ask. Have it brainstorm potential counteroffers or concessions the recruiter might make.
Practice with the AI.
Exactly. It helps you prepare, anticipate the conversation, and build the confidence to actually make the ask, overcoming that initial nervousness.
Okay, this has been incredibly practical, but we need to talk about mindset too, right? Especially around LinkedIn, which we've discussed a lot. It seems to have this dual nature.
It really does. We have to acknowledge the dark side, as we called it earlier.
Yeah.
The intense competition, the algorithms sometimes favoring shallow viral stuff over deep professional insights, the paywalls creating different levels of access, even fake job listings and scam recruiters. Those are real problems.
Definitely frustrating.
But despite all those flaws, LinkedIn still pretty much is the industry standard for professional networking and recruiter outreach.
So you kind of have to be there.
For most professional roles, yeah.
Yeah.
The networking and personal branding aspects alone make it valuable, even if you don't pay for premium features. It remains essential.
Okay, so accept its flaws, but use it strategically. What about managing the stress of the search itself?
Ah, yes. One expert had this really counterintuitive advice. You care too much, NH.
Care too much? How can you care too much about finding a job?
Their point was about hyper-focusing on outcomes you can't control, obsessively checking profile views, refreshing your email every 5 minutes.
The watch pot never boils thing.
Exactly. It just drains your energy. Instead, focus that intensity on the things you can control: your outreach strategy, your interview prep, your skill development.
Control the controllables.
Right. And this actually connects to some broader principles, like those often associated with someone like Elon Musk, surprisingly.
How so?
Well, first, the idea of being useful. Focus on creating real value, doing good work that helps others, rather than just chasing status or glory.
Substance over style.
Second, first principles thinking.
Breaking things down.
Yeah, breaking problems down to their absolute fundamental truths and reasoning up from there. Challenging assumptions. Like Musk, questioning why rockets cost so much by looking at raw material costs.
So apply that to the job search. If something isn't working.
Don't just accept the conventional wisdom. Ask why. What's the root cause? Find novel solutions.
And the third principle.
Ego management and resilience. This is huge. Recognize that setbacks and failures are just part of the process.
Like SpaceX's early rockets exploding.
Exactly. Failure is data. Keeping your ego in check lets you actually learn from failure, take responsibility for what you can change, and adapt instead of just blaming the system.
That's powerful. It connects back to not letting rejections define you.
Absolutely vital. You have to internalize this. Getting rejected or getting silence doesn't diminish your actual talent or the value of your work.
The system might be flawed.
The system is flawed in many ways. The key is to be smart, understand its quirks, find the loopholes. Your real work, your projects, your impact, that's what's valuable, regardless of fancy titles or whether your post went viral.
Focus on the substance.
Keep developing your skills. Keep applying them in the real world. Don't just collect certifications for the sake of it. Build things, solve problems, be useful.
Wow. We have covered so much ground today. Really, from the absolute foundation of knowing yourself.
Building that internal compass.
Right. Then crafting your message, the resume, the LinkedIn profile.
Your sales tools and your billboard.
Then moving beyond just applying into strategic networking and outreach.
Targeting people, not just systems.
Acing the actual interactions, interviews, negotiation.
Taking control of the conversation.
And finally, wrapping it all in the right mindset, resilience, strategy, and understanding the landscape.
Adapting to the reality of it all.
It's a comprehensive plan, so maybe a final thought to leave everyone with.
Okay.
We know the world of work is changing incredibly fast. AI is everywhere. Technology keeps evolving.
The pace is accelerating.
Yeah. So the question for you, the listener, is, given all this change, how does your personal approach to building your career need to adapt? Not just to survive this current job market,
but to really thrive in whatever the future of work, the future of human capability actually looks like.
Something to think about.